All right, Shalom. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shah, Baal Shem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders that teach the exact same thing. Salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth, in the sincere spirit of Yahweh, Baal Shem, Yahweh Shah. All right, this will be a lesson on based on the tensions over there in the Middle East, which is Ezekiel 38 unfolding. All right. So I'm gonna jump straight into this. It says Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel 38. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Right. So this is a prophecy against the people in the land that ancient Gog and Magog used to inhabit. All right, used to control, which is now Russia. All right. It says, "And say, Thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Right. So the Lord said that he was going to do something to cause Gog and Magog, which is modern day Russia, to go back into their aggressive military like spirit or state. All right. And the Lord is making that happen primarily with Vladimir Putin right now, because if you know the history of Russia, it used to be the Soviet Union during World War II. During World War II, the Soviet Union was started off to be allies with Germany. You know, Adolf Hitler. They were together, and when they invaded Poland, they were allies. But then Germany, Adolf Hitler wound up turning on the Soviet Union. All right. And then they got out of control. Basically, they started warring with each other. Which the Soviet Union was Russia allied with other countries that were over there in the surrounding lands. All right, Ukraine being one of them. Before America came and got involved, which America got involved because Japan was one of the allies of Germany, if I'm not mistaken, and they bombed Pearl Harbor. All right, so then after Pearl Harbor, that's when America got involved with World War II, and then what? Which resulted in Adolf Hitler basically killing himself. All right, which ended World War II. But by the time America got involved, due to the Soviet Union resisting Germany, before America got involved, some of the Soviet Union's territories were damaged. All right. And then America basically claimed the victory of World War II. All right. But America was barely touched by the effects of World War II. All right. And at the same time, they set up the small hats, the people over there in the land of Israel now, and they established the state of Israel. All right. Which the small hats are the people that are posing to be the original people of the land of Israel, which is a lie. The original people of the land of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right. And due to them doing that, posing to be the original people of that land, that started what you call the Holy War. All right, between the Arabic people, because their religion claims to be the holy religion. They claim that they're supposed to have control over the Holy Land, which is Israel, Jerusalem. All right, but what happened was Jerusalem wound up being split between the small hats and the Muslims. All right, until this day, and so that's why there's so much tension over there. But now today, so the Soviet Union fell. The Soviet Union fell, and then you had a lot of corruption going on. You had a lot of corruption going on within after the fall of the Soviet Union, right? And then Vladimir Putin came in, right? Basically, and took control over the government. And his whole thing is that he saw how America, the Western world, tried to sneak into the Russian government and try to gain control over their government. The Russian oligarchs and all of that, right? So since Vladimir Putin came in office, he brought back that old Soviet Union spirit, which was the dominant force on the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, and not allowing the Western Hemisphere superpower, which is America and its allies, to gain territories over there in the Eastern Hemisphere of the world, right? So now you got Russia backing up Iran, all right, and America backing up the state of Israel, okay? But the original people of the land of Russia were the Medes, which is Gog and Magog, all right? The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, right? Going back to verse 3. And I'm going to read 4 again. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth." Right. So so that's the history between, giving a summary basically of the history between Russia and America, after World War II, right? The Cold War and all that, right? And also, right, during World War II, after World War II, that's when you had the invention of the was it the hydrogen bomb, I believe? Basically the nuclear bomb at its early stages, all right, was invented, all right, and first used on the Japanese after Pearl Harbor, all right? After Pearl Harbor was bombed, then retaliation for Pearl Harbor was America using I think it was the hydrogen bomb, all right, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Which shook up the whole world. And then after that, Russia, they was determined to hurry up and basically get them that same type of technology, all right, so that they can remain being the superpower on the eastern hemisphere of the world, all right. So all of that happened after World War II, and ever since then, the tensions between America and Russia has been great and high. You had the Cuban Missile Crisis, all right, which was a time and period when the whole world thought that nuclear war was going to break out, all right, and the whole world was basically scared for a nuclear war to break out, all right. But then things died down, and there were more like sneak attacks, cyber attacks happening since then, all right. But when you go back into history, further back into history, the Medes, which the original people of the land of Russia now, right? Gog and Magog, they were always a dominant force after the nation of Israel, the original nation of Israel, went into captivity under the Assyrians, all right? The Assyrians dealt with resistance from the Medes, all right, when trying to conquer territories, all right, and then the Babylonians conquered the Assyrians, which the Assyrians were that was the first captivity when our people that was the first empire that brought our people into captivity and exile and started running our people dragging our people out of our land into different lands, all right? And that's how you got that's when the 10 tribes migrated to over here to the Western world, all right? And that's how you got the North American Indians, which are the Gadites, all right, the Reubenites, which are the Seminole Indians, all right, the Aztecs, the Incans, the Mayans, all right, Issachar, all right, the 10 tribes, the Latin tribes, right? That's how you got that's how you got those people over here in the Americas, all right. And then, Slocky, I'm trying to keep up with my train of thought. Right, so that happened under the Assyrians, all right? And then the Babylonians conquered the Assyrians, and then, which transferred the captivity of the nation of Israel. Our captivity transferred to the Babylonians, all right? And then that's when this the southern kingdom of the nation of Israel were exiled, all right? And the whole land of Israel was conquered, basically. Our people, we still had our people there, but the empire, the government that was controlling our land was the Babylonian Empire, all right? And then which the Medes, which is modern day Russia now, the Medes helped the Babylonians conquer the Assyrians, all right? And then before the Persians came into power, what helped the Persians come into power is that the Medes, they started declining. A lot of corruption was happening, just like what happened, during the fall of the Soviet Union, and after and before Vladimir Putin came and took the government of Russia into his own hands, basically, right? You had a lot of corruption going on, right? You had a lot of bribes being taken, all right, which allowed for other governments or other kingdoms to sneak in and to get their foot in the door, so to speak, as far as establishing power, all right? And that's how the Persians were able to come into power, and they conquered the Babylonians, and they kept the Medes. They allowed the Medes to stay in power under them, all right? So in history, all throughout history, especially ancient history, that land, the Medes, the original people of that land, the Medes, Gog and Magog, they were always a force to be reckoned with, all right? They were always acknowledged for their to have a decent military, all right? And so the Lord said that he was going to put hooks into their jaws, right? And that's unfolding right before our eyes, all right? The Most High has put the spirit on Vladimir Putin to turn the Russian government, the Russian government back into that very strong military power, right? And right, so I'm gonna read on. So this is Ezekiel 38 unfolding before our eyes. Verse 5, it says, Persia, which is Iran, right? The new Persians is the Iranians, all right? And it makes sense, because you had the Medo-Persian Empire, and now you have the Russians, which is backing up the new Persians, which is the Iranians, all right? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, right? So these are allies of Russia today, all right? Russia has embassies in Iran and Ethiopia and Libya, all right? And all of these countries, all of their allied countries have embassies in Russia as well, all right? It says, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, right? If I'm not mistaken, there's a Russian embassy in Turkey, and Turkey has a embassy in Russia, if I'm not mistaken. It says, in all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, right, Turkey, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So the Lord said that he was going to turn Russia back into that spirit of being the dominant force and conquering empire or kingdom in their region of the world, right? And to be basically a bodyguard for all of the nations that they are allied with, all right, which is primarily Iran right now, all right. That's the allied nation that's making the most noise over there in the Middle East right now, all right. It says after many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword. Right now, this is talking about the land of Israel. Right, the land that is brought back from the sword. Right, because the state of Israel came about because came about after World War II, after all of those wars, all of the fighting over there happened. World War II, the state of Israel was established in 1948, all right, due to America setting up the state of Israel, all right, after the victory of World War II. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. Right, because before those small hats made claim to that land over there, and the state of Israel was established in 1948. You didn't really have anyone in that land claiming that land. There was nothing. There was really no. There was really nothing going on in that land. You didn't really hear about it too much, right? The land was because the original people of that land, they were gone, all right. They were ran out of that land, and there wasn't really anything going on in that land. All right. It says, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Right, so it's prophesied in the scriptures that the land of Israel is going to be invaded, all right, by Russia and all of Russia's allies, all right. And you see that what's going on with Iran and Israel right now is the beginning stages of that, all right. I think Russia had like warships in the Red Sea, all right. So these prophecies are unfolding and taking place right before our eyes, all right. So I'm gonna stop there real quick. I'm gonna go back and bring this article out. It says, Iran warns U.S. not to respond, says next attack on Israel will be more severe. Right, so Iran just attempted to retaliate, or did retaliate, by sending, I think they said like 300 missiles into Israel, all right? But they said 90% of those missiles were intercepted, and it caused little damage to Israel. The missiles that did hit, it caused little damage to the land of Israel. All right. So it says Iran warns U.S. not to respond. Says next attack on Israel will be more severe. Right. And so Iran keep popping shit to America, which is Babylon the Great. Right. Basically warning them like, look, we on Israel ass. We gonna keep attacking them. Right. We know y'all backing Israel up, but y'all better not get involved with what we got going on. So what is it that makes Iran so bold to where as though that they feel like they could talk to America, which has a great which has for a while now has had one of the strongest, if not the strongest, militaries on the face of the earth. All right, it's only because they know that they're being backed up by Russia, which now has a military force that can challenge America's military force. All right, the two top countries with nuclear capabilities are America and Russia. All right, and if Russia is backing up Iran, it makes sense that Iran will feel comfortable to make attacks on one of the on Israel, which is backed up by America. All right, to the point where they popping shit like, look, y'all better not get involved. Or else what? All right, and what Iran is retaliating because Israel a couple days ago carried out that airstrike on Syria that killed 2 Iranian generals and 5 Iranian officers, if I'm not mistaken. All right, it says Biden has been clear the United States will stand with the people of Israel and support their defense against these threats from Iran, U.S. National Security Council spokeswoman stated. Iran warned the United States not to respond to its attack on Israel as the confrontation between the two arch foes spilled over into the region, and the Jewish state weathered its first direct drone and missile attack from Tehran early Sunday morning. Our response will be much larger than tonight's military action if Israel retaliates against Iran. Armed Forces Chief of Staff Major General Mohammed Bakari told State TV, adding that Tehran warned Washington that any backing of Israeli retaliation would result in U.S. bases being targeted. Right, so when the first time before Iran retaliated on Israel due to the airstrikes on Syria, they warned America not to get involved. Right, they warned them that they was about to attack, and for America to not get involved. America responded by saying, basically, just don't target any American bases or people, right? Don't target anything that got to do. Don't target any American any places that Americans occupy in Israel, basically, if you do make an attack, right? Which is kind of like, why would they respond like that unless they feel as though that Iran has either nuclear capabilities that can cause major destruction to Israel or America, or because they know that they're being backed up by Russia. All right. So if America and Iran get into it, that's going to force Russia to get into it with America, which they already got tensions, and they already into it. All right. They already got beef, but this would actually drag them into actual all-out war, which it's inevitable to turn into a nuclear war. All right. But no matter what they do, no matter how much they try to prevent this from happening, it's prophesied that these things are going to happen. That's the reason. That's the only thing. That's the only way to understand what's going on over there in the Middle East. All right. It's a spiritual thing. All right. It says, the commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hossein Salami, also warned Tehran would retaliate against any Israeli attack on its interests, officials, or citizens. Right. Let me see. What else? Right. Iran's mission to the UN in New York stated in a post on X early Sunday, which is the new Twitter, on early Sunday morning, that this is a conflict between Iran and the rogue Israeli regiment, from which the U.S. must stay away. Right? So they talking to America real boldly. Right? Let me see if I want to grab, because you can read this yourself. Right. That's basically most of Israel working with coalition of military. Most of the drones and missiles in Sunday's attack were shot out of the sky by a coalition of armed forces from the United States, Jordan, Great Britain, and Israel. Right. So America helped. America, along with Jordan and Great Britain, helped Israel against those attacks from Iran. All right. The attack marked a turning point in Iran's war on Israel, which to date has been primarily carried out by its proxy groups such as Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Right. So that's basically it on that, right? So I'm gonna get into this a little bit, right? And give you a little understanding on these escalations. Iran and Israel relations, right? The relations between Iran and Israel are divided into four major phases. Four major phases, right? So I'm gonna jump to the most first of all, it says the beginnings of Jewish history in Iran dates from late biblical times. Right? The biblical books of Isaiah, Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Chronicles, and Esther contain references to the life and experiences of the Jews in Persia. Right? So that's what things started at. Right? Slocky, where is that I'm looking for? Slocky. Shit. Damn. Slocky. I had to find this real fast. Just bear with me 1 second. All right, here you go. Since 1985, right? Salakia. All right, matter of fact, I'm gonna start from right here. It says Iran was the second Muslim majority country to recognize Israel as a sovereign state after Turkey. After the 1953 coup d'etat, which reinstalled the pro-Western leader Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as the Shah of Iran, relations between the two countries significantly improved. Right? It says after the 1979 Islamic Revolution, Iran severed all diplomatic and commercial ties with Israel, and its theocratic government does not recognize the legitimacy of Israel as a state. Right, so they don't recognize them. Since 1979, Iran does not recognize Israel as any type of power over there in the Middle East. All right, they look at them as insignificant, and that's one of the main reasons why they have so much tension over there now today. All right, besides it being spiritual, right, carnally, this is the reason. It says does not recognize the legitimacy of Israel as a state. The turn from cold peace to open hostility began in the early 1990s, shortly after the collapse of the Soviet Union, which was in 91, after the defeat of Iraq in the Gulf War, after which relative power in the Middle East shifted to Iran and Israel. Right? Jumping down, it says other factors that have contributed to the escalation of bilateral tensions include Iran's development of nuclear technology. Right, so that's where a lot of tension come from over there in the Middle East as well. Right, because since the invention of the nuclear of nuclear bombs, right, that's the biggest threat that a country can have. Those are the biggest guns, right, so to speak. That's the biggest weapons that any country could have that could cause the largest threat. All right, if your country has nuclear capabilities, you have the power to basically wipe out a large part, if not all, of the opposition's country, the opposing country. All right, and so it's all about controlling. It's all about controlling how many nukes you do have, controlling your nuclear capabilities. All right, if I could control your nuclear capabilities, you no longer pose a great threat to my country. All right, it says relative to Israel's long-stated begin doctrine, Iran's funding of Islamist groups such as Hezbollah Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas, as well as alleged involvement in terrorist attacks such as the 1992 attack on Israeli embassy in Buenos Aires and the 1994 Amir bombing, and Israel's alleged support for militant groups such as the People's Mujahideen of Iran and Jundallah, as well as alleged covert Israeli operations in Iran, including multiple assassinations and bombings. Since 1985, Iran and Israel have been engaged in an ongoing proxy conflict that has greatly affected the geopolitics of the Middle East and has included direct military confrontations between Iranian and Israeli organizations, such as in the 2006 Lebanon War. The conflict has played out in various ways, including through support for opposing factions in conflicts in Syria and Yemen. Iran has provided support to the Syrian government, while Israel has supported opposition groups in Yemen. Iran has provided support for the Houthi rebels, while Israel has provided support to the Saudi-led coalition fighting the rebels. The conflict has also involved cyber attacks and sabotage against each other's infrastructure, including attacks on nuclear facilities and oil tankers. Overall, the Iran-Israel proxy conflict is a complex and ongoing conflict that has had a significant impact on the political and security dynamics of the Middle East, right? So up until now, right, there's been basically sneak attacks going on between Israel and Iran. Iran hiding behind small militia groups, all right, that would make attacks and say that and try to make it seem like it wasn't them. Israel making sneak attacks from small militia groups and saying that it wasn't them, all right, cyber attacks, all right. That's how things have been. That's how the war has been carried out up until now. Now, they're in direct war with each other. All right. Which is gonna end up in Russia and America going into an all-out war with each other. All right. Which is going to result in Russia invading Israel, like the prophecy says, going back to Ezekiel 38:9, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Right? Which is to go to war with America, knowing that America is backing up Israel. Right? Once Russia invade Israel, all right, or Iran invade Israel, however it go, right? Once eventually America is going to be forced to get involved with everything that's going on over there between Iran and Israel. All right. It says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is America. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Right. So that evil thought is going to is going to be that we have to now consider going to war or invading the land of America, which is Babylon the Great. All right. It says to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people, right? Because America is going to be turned into a desert, right? And upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and the Dan, right? The Arabic people, because America is known for producing great business. All right, most countries come to America looking to capitalize off of its economy. All right, they come over here, they set up businesses, and they send their money out into their own countries where the American money is worth way more, usually in most cases. All right, which is coming to an end because the American economy and the American dollar is coming to an end. Inflation is on an all-time high, and it's going to continue to rise up. The prices of food, gas, all right, and the cost of living altogether is on a rise, and it's going to continue to rise because the American economy is falling, and it's going to collapse totally eventually, right? So all the countries that's over here all the countries that's over here to come up off of America are going to eventually start to leave. All right. It says Sheba and the Dan and the merchants of Tarshish, right, which is Spain, right? With all the young lions thereof shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Right, because the spirit is on Russia to be the dominant force over there in the eastern hemisphere of the world, and it's going to turn to them wanting to be the superpower of the whole world. All right, conquering America, all right, and putting America down as the superpower on the western hemisphere of the world. So Russia plans on expanding their territory, all right, expanding their dominance on the face of the earth, so much that the rest of the countries, all right, are going to feel threatened, right? And which says art thou come to take a spoil, which is, to rob? Are you coming to look to take over our government and how we run things and how we run business, right? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil, right? Verse 14, therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus said the Lord Yahweh, in that day when my people of Israel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it? Right, so I think that's when it jumped talking about the actual ancient days, right? Verse 16, it says, and thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. Right, so no, Salakia, because it jump around to when the Medes conquered the land of Israel. Right. So I'm jump down to verse 18. And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Israel, right? Because the difference between it says right here, it says verse 14, verse 14 through 14 through 17, it speaks about how God would come against my people of Israel, which is talking about the actual people of the land of Israel in the ancient days, which already came to pass. But everywhere around these verses, right, jumping back to 18, and it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land, right? Now it's talking about the land, right? The people that's in the land now, right? It shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, said the Lord Yahweh, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea, what's that great shaking? Nuclear bombs are going to be shot off. Bombs are going to be shot off. Great war is going to break out, right? Because it's time for the Lord's judgment. The time of the Lord's judgment is at hand, and that's why you have so much tensions escalating in the Middle East over there now. The Lord is angry. The Lord is very angry, and he's about to pass judgment on the face of the earth, all right, by way of thermonuclear destruction, all right? A great fire, a great destructive fire, destroying the whole America, a great portion of Russia, all right, Israel, and multiple other places across the four corners of the earth, all right? It says, I'm gonna bring it back. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fishes of the sea and the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, right, which represents governments, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him, which represents destruction, right? I will call for a sword. What's the main sword? What's the modern day weapon? The main modern day weapon of destruction today that everyone is scared of, the nuclear bombs. Against him throughout all my mountains, said the Lord Yahweh, every man's sword shall be against his brother. And I will plead against him with pestilences, right, diseases, and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, and overflowing rain, which is the nuclear missiles, right? There's going to be so many of them shot off. It's going to be as like raindrops, and great hailing and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. And brimstone is basically sulfur, right? And one of the main elements in those nuclear bombs is sulfur. It says, thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am the Lord, right? And that's how the Most High, the God of the Bible, whose name is Yahweh, always proved that he was the only true and living God, true and living power of all existence, right? Put into shame, all right, and making a lie out of any other false gods or claims of gods, right? He would do something like old Egypt. He showed his great power in bringing the nation of Israel out of the land of Egypt, and that was what established. That was what allowed or made Pharaoh, the ancient Egyptians, free us from that captivity, all right, and set us up as a nation, all right, allowed us to be set up as a nation. And as long as our God was with us, no nation could come up against us and be victorious in war, all right. The great flood, all right, the Most High always, right, the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah by fire and brimstone, right, the Most High always made his name known by great wonders and destructions. And that's the same thing he gonna do to this day. That's the same thing he gonna do in these days now. And only the true prophets of Yahweh are telling the whole world, all right, about these things that are about to happen. Verse 39. Therefore, thou son of man, chapter 39, Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and leave but the 6th part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel, right? So it's prophesied that 5 parts out of 6 of Russia's military was going to come out of Russia and into military conquest, right? It says, and part of that is them invading Israel, right? And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and I will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand, right? Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, thou and all thy bands, and the people that is with thee. I will give thee unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field, and to be devoured. Thou shalt fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, said the Lord Yahweh. And I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will let them pollute, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One in Israel. Right, because what? The Lord's name is being polluted, right? Lies are being told about the God of Israel, right? The people of Israel, all right? And all types of evil and perversion, right? The land of Israel, the culture of Israel is being perverted. The name of the Lord is being perverted, all right? And the Lord said he's gonna put it all to an end, all right, by way of World War III, which is gonna end in a nuclear war, all right, which is gonna result in 100% of America being destroyed, a great portion of of Russia being destroyed, Israel being destroyed, all right, and various other places across the 4 corners of the earth, right? So this is what it's all about, man. All right, America being destroyed, along with that fake state of Israel being that was set up through America being destroyed as well. All right. And this is why Iran feels though that they have the right to speak up against America, how they're speaking up against them, warning them not to get involved with what's going on between Iran and Israel. All right. So with that, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and all other elders that teach the exact same thing. Salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth in the sincere spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Shalom.